My fellow Americans, let me make two observations. First of all, we support a structure of law, we support law enforcement, and we support law enforcement officers. I have a dear uncle who's retired as a police chief. Officers want what all of us want. They want life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Second, we're in favor of the rights of citizens. The rights of citizens as enumerated in the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution. And those two things are compatible in a civil society. September 17, 1787, the Constitution was signed. The Constitution of the United States is the root of all law in this country. Nothing supersedes it. Nothing detracts from it. The original 13 states said, we will sign that Constitution if we have some personal protections for rights of citizens to prevent this new federal government from abusing its power. That was important. Rights had been abused previously, and the original 13 states said, we require that. In the days of quill and ink pen, it wasn't easy to edit the Constitution, so the first 10 amendments to the Constitution were added, the Bill of Rights. Timing today is also important because we have a new Supreme Court justice, and the court has a new fall agenda, and there is a matter critically important to the American people that must be on the court's agenda. That is the Fourth Amendment. The Fourth Amendment says, the right of the people to be secure in their persons shall not be violated. The right of the people to be secure against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated. Too many citizens have had these rights violated, and this court, the Supreme Court, has denied justice and denied that the Fourth Amendment is the highest law of the land. We've had 70 citizens suffocated by police officers. That is an obvious violation of your right to be secure in your person. No law permits that. That's purposeful, intentional murder. Yet we've got people who work in the Supreme Court who say, no justice for you. Something else is more important than your constitutional right to be secure in your person. There will only be safety on our streets when there is justice in our courts. And this is not a political issue. All Americans have the same rights. We all have the same Constitution. Justice Clarence Thomas has observed that something must be done. Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg even wrote in 2018 in D.C. versus Wesby, quote, the court's jurisprudence, I am concerned, sets the balance too heavily in favor of police unaccountability to the detriment of Fourth Amendment protection. Think about that. She wrote that in 2018. 2 years later, it still has not been addressed by this court. Accountability, responsibility. Those are the basis for every lawsuit. Someone violated someone else. Justice is owed. Restitution is owed. Accountability, responsibility. Every officer who has been trained by and armed by citizens and who has power over their fellow citizens is accountable to those citizens and is responsible to those citizens. The legal shield, called qualified immunity, may apply, but only in very rare cases that actually look like the 1967 case for which it was created. An officer is not liable for a rights violation only because someone else is liable. Short of those circumstances, the rights of citizens must be protected. Accountability, responsibility. The Supreme Court has said that being a police officer is a hard job, requires quick decisions. Therefore, officers have qualified immunity and aren't liable to you when they violate your rights. Hard job, quick decisions? Sounds like being a truck driver. Sounds like being a waitress. Sounds like being a welder. Sounds like being a salesperson. There's an awful lot of jobs that are hard, that require quick decisions. Do all of those people get qualified immunity too? At the top of the Supreme Court building, it says, equal justice under law. Will all of those people be granted qualified immunity if they create the same civil rights violations that a police officer creates? Equal justice under law. Remember, officers have been selected from a group of candidates. They've been vetted and background checked, and they have been trained specifically in the law. They know the Constitution. They know your civil rights shall not be violated. What's the first of all laws? The Constitution. What is the first law every police officer should learn in Law Enforcement Academy? The preeminent of all laws, the Constitution. The Supreme Court has also said it doesn't matter what actually happened, even if there's video, when your rights were violated. It only matters whether a reasonable person would have known your rights would be violated. This is nonsense. There are two people in the courtroom. The matter, the litigation, is about what actually happened between those two people. Reasonable person? Nonsense. Officers are selected, vetted, trained in the law, and the law starts with the Constitution. This reasonable person fiction was created by the Supreme Court as if they were playing a fantasy board game and they needed to create a new character, this reasonable person, who has the weapons of a police officer, the training of a police officer, fights like a police officer, has the arrest powers of a police officer, but yet has the constitutional knowledge of a -9 reasonable person. That's nonsense. Law Enforcement Academy training must start with the rights of citizens, the Constitution, the highest of all laws. Officers know the Constitution. Officers know your rights shall not be violated. And think about one other thing. Reasonable person? Every high school student in this country takes U.S. government, civics, or some version of that in high school. Every student in this country who has been through high school has some rudimentary knowledge of the Constitution. Why does a reasonable person not know the Fourth Amendment? Nonsense, isn't it? Let's consider further. The Supreme Court has said the actual events that happened, even if there's video, do not stand alone to determine if your Fourth Amendment rights were violated. You must show clear precedent that the particular violation has been proven to be a violation. That is nonsense, too. The right of the people to be secure in their persons shall not be violated. The right of the people to be secure against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated. What clear precedent do we need to understand those words? But the Supreme Court's gone even further and said that a violation of your Fourth Amendment rights is not really a violation unless you can prove a well-established law articulates that that is a violation. Nonsense. The Constitution is over 230 years' worth of well-established law, period. Then the Supreme Court's gone even further off the rails and said that it doesn't even matter if the officer who violated your rights had evil intentions and the violation was malicious. Nonsense. The Fourth Amendment to the Constitution was designed to protect all Americans against exactly that. Justice John Marshall in 1804 said, "A violation is a violation, and when rights are violated, restitution is due." How does a Supreme Court judge in 1804 know that, but our justices today don't know that? Supreme Court knew this through most of our history, but recently has lost its way over language manipulations designed to deny the Fourth Amendment, rights of citizens. The Constitution of the United States of America is clearly established, has been for over 230 years. It is precedent. It is beyond debate. Period. It's 2020. And on behalf of all Americans, today I issue the Supreme Court challenge of 2020. Restore the Fourth Amendment rights of the citizens of this nation. That is the challenge to the Supreme Court in 2020, the Supreme Court challenge of 2020. Solve this great discontent we see in the streets of America. The Fourth Amendment says the right of the people to be secure in their persons shall not be violated. The right of the people to be secure against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated. There are about 30 Fourth Amendment cases sitting in the Supreme Court right now begging for a hearing. The Supreme Court must take up one of these cases and fix this root problem in America today. It is too late for all of those who have died. It is too late for all of those who have lost so much. It is not too late for those who have to interact with a police officer next week. For those people, this is the most critical and urgent issue in America today. Restore the Fourth Amendment rights of citizens. The Supreme Court challenge of 2020. Hashtag it. Again, We support law enforcement officers everywhere, and good law enforcement respects the Fourth Amendment rights of citizens. Those two are completely compatible in a civil society. But when something unfortunate happens, when rights are violated, citizens must be able to find truth and justice and restitution in our courts. A new Supreme Court justice gives us an opportunity to take a fresh look at this issue and make this better for America. Take up any case. Supreme Court Challenge of 2020. Restore the Fourth Amendment rights of citizens. Heal America. Make our streets safe again.